I thought I'd go through some basic introduction to wildcards because that really simplifies how you work in the Linux terminal. Now, there are three wildcards used, but the most common one is the asterisk, which I just call the star. It represents 0 or more characters, which might not mean much yet, but that's what we're going to look at. And next time we're going to look at the question mark and then the brackets, and we're going to have a last video on how to combine them. But for now, this is just an introduction level here. So what I've done here is I've created a test folder, and inside it we have 9 files. Now we could have had 100 files here, but I'm using 9 files for clarity, and we're going to use the ls command to begin with, just to establish a way to look at it before we move over to using the asterisk with other commands. What we have here are 4 PDF files. We have 3 JPEG files, 3 text files. We have 1 PNG file. The files start mostly with an I, a P, and a S. And within the I's here, we have 1 capital I, just so that's mentioned. And one more thing to mention here is when I usually use the ls command, what I'm really after is the ls tag l command, which shows permissions, ownership, size, dates, and the name of the files. I just don't want 100 files here. I'm going to try to explain this as good as I can here now. We have PDFs and JPEGs, and you could say a .jpeg, right? That's the file ending. So if we start with that now, just for clarity here, what I've done is I've excluded everything else, all the PDFs, the text files, everything except the JPEG files is now excluded. But I want all the JPEG files. So the asterisk here is 0 or more characters. So it's not pointing to one JPEG file, it's pointing to all the JPEG files. So if I now have an ls here with the asterisk .jpeg, I'm going to get the JPEG files and nothing else. And that's kind of like one of the basic workings of the asterisk here. If like we had when I did the zip tutorials, when you add one file, you have space, and then you add one more file. Here, if I wanted the JPEGs and I also wanted to include, for example, the PDF files, I could just use the asterisk for all the PDF files, and dot PDF here. That's exactly what I would get. I would get all the PDF files and all the JPEG files, then I would exclude everything else. One more thing, you could also have, of course, a single file here. If I wanted the router PNG file together with all the JPEG files, I could do this, and it would give me all the picture files here. Of course, we have the tab now, so router info doesn't really take that long to type. It's just R and the tab. But of course, if we didn't have the tab, it would actually have been easier to just do an asterisk dot png at the same time here. But this is one way to do this. And then we have another way to look at it. We have 4 PDF files here, which all start with an I. So if I now wanted those files, I could have an ls and an I here, and then the asterisk, whatever comes after the asterisk, or the asterisk 2, but not including the I, 0 more characters, right? and then I would get the information in the infosec files. But as you can see, I'm not getting the capital I here, which we have. What I could do is I could also, of course, do this with the capital I, and I would get that one. If I wanted to combine them, I could use the ls here and the I and the asterisk, and then just the capital I and the asterisk, and I would get all 4 files. Now, one more thing here is we have info is the beginning of all these files, so that's not really going to help us if I wrote or typed here info and asterisk. We're going to end up with the same 3 files there, excluding the capital I, right? But if I just wanted the infosec files, I would actually have to use ls info and then the s there, and then an asterisk, and I would get those 2 files. So if I wanted to just look at those 2 files, I could just do the tag L here, and I would get the permissions and whatever. But this is also one way to kind of like exclude files and just get the files you want using the asterisk. Let's create one more folder to play around with here. We're gonna make a test1, and we have a test1 here now. And let's copy the let's see what we have here first. All right, let's copy the PDF files and the JPEG files, and we're going to do an absolute path here. To the test1. Now let's go back. And with the asterisk here, we have copied over these files, and we can also use the asterisk here for let's say we can clear first here. We can zip. We can zip the PDF files. Using the asterisk, and we can now look inside it, and you see that with the asterisk here we have copied and we have zipped, right? And we can remove the JPEG files, for example, asterisk. Sorry about that, JPEG, and we now have used asterisk. Let's go back to our folder again, and that's where we have all our files, right? So a few more things here before we finish up. We don't have to be in the current directory here. We could, for example, want to locate or let's say find all the files that start with a P in the etc directory, for example. We could do something like this, P and then the asterisk, and that will get us all those files. We could also, for example, if we only wanted the pulse files that were in the etc, we could do that. So current directory is not a necessity to do this. The asterisk can be used for tons of commands, and it can be used kind of like almost wherever you feel like it. And one more thing here, and that will be to narrow the search even more. Let's say we just wanted the files which had a 1 in them. We could use an asterisk here for everything in front of the 1, and then the 1, and everything behind the 1, and with an ls in front of it, we will get all those files which has a 1. This is mainly what I use the asterisk for, but I'm no system administrator. What I could just in the end here show you is that you could of course remove all the files. So remove asterisk period and whatever comes after, like the ending here, that would take away all the files, but that would not of course take away the hidden files. And that's it for this time, and the next time we'll do the wildcard with the question mark. Until next time.